So we're on the back of the ute here now, and get rid of the packaging. This is a bit of tea towel. I noticed on the first video I made it was sort of going ting, ting, ting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the coarse stone, and the oil I'm going to use is this is straight dishwashing liquid. Now the job on the knife, this is actually a brand new Dexter Russell Green River, and you know, fabulous factory edge, but a little bit coarse and a little bit too steep for me. Now what I'm going to first show you is I'm using the back of my thumb here, and as a guide. So if you imagine I had a mark in the middle of my thumb, I'll probably draw that one day to show people. But that is my guide. And if you look at it from here, I'm resting the blade of the knife and my thumb, and that is my angle guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting also on the coarser side of the stone. And there's a lot of things you can learn about sharpening here. But I'm going to take a slice off the knife, and you can listen to it and definitely see what's happening. If you notice here, I'm exiting the stone before the end. You'll get scratches on your blade if you don't. So please, that's not an accident that I'm showing this one right in the middle here, and you can press it down. It's like taking a slice. Now what I tend to do is I'm fairly ambidextrous, so I don't mind changing hands from right to left, but this is the way I think you get the best consistency. If you are a bit weaker on, that's 5 on the right hand, if you are a bit weaker on your left hand, you might find that 6 on the other one will compensate. Now essentially what we're doing now is we're looking at the edge. Now I can definitely see what's happening, and you can see where you're touching, where you're not, trying to fix any faults. Now the really interesting one about this coarse stone is obviously you can't feel it, but you can definitely feel the burr of which side. If you just finished on one side, you can definitely feel where it is. I mean, you can actually see from me wiping it where it's picking up the cloth. Now the other one is, this is a bit of end timber. You can actually then, after feeling the burr, if you scrape it down the end timber, you can actually see how it disappears. And what I'm going to do is, like from the coarse stone, that's really set that edge. I probably missed a bit on the tip there, but I'm pretty happy that just to re-edge, you can see where I missed a bit there. Something to look for. So what I'll do is I'll give it another couple of runs there. So I'm always starting, as someone once asked me, like, is it you left or right-handed? And which side you finish on does affect, which I won't talk about too much. And the other one I'll just make a note of is, if you can hear that first stroke had a very high pitch, which really was, there's a burr sticking up, and that was taking it off. You hear it high, drops in tone. So hopefully by using your thumb like this, you will get a very consistent angle, and consistent angle is so important. Now I've done enough on that side. I'm taking a little burr off there. I'm going to change sides onto the smoother side. Now this is sort of 1000 grit, and for the really hardcore sharpeners, this is a very coarse stone. But what you'll find, for if you do it well, this will be enough. So I'm here. Now what I'm going to do, you can still see that's catching a little bit there, just checking the edge. Now even here, this is a fine steel, and the way I was taught by a fitter and turner who sharpen knives for a living, don't hold it like this, you hold it parallel to the ground. Your same measurement is you'd be looking for this angle, and what's happening is your elbow is providing this function and your wrist is controlling the angle of the knife. So essentially what you'll find is then that this wheel, very smooth sounding, and I'm sharpening on the steel, and then here, shaving edge. So even if you notice that way, it shaves much better this way than it does this way, which is depends on when you sort of which side you finish on, left or right-handed, but only minuscule. But that knife now, I'm going to give that to a friend of mine in an hour or so, and it's just got a much sort of finer edge. And look, for the most part, if you were that'll last you well. Very workable edge. Bring it back up on the steel, and anyway, that's the absolute basics of knife sharpening. If you can do that, it's a very sharp knife. You'll be able to do most things. Anyway.